thank you all for coming in on this Sunday. It has helped my hair business. There is so much happening. And this week, you all may have noticed on my page, I've just been in such a place of gratitude with how God has just blessed my life and all of the presence of so many great people to serve so many people. Okay, I got a little message on my phone. And so I really wanted to use this live today as an opportunity to talk to you all about your sources of inspiration. I just want to thank my squad and other hairstylists who follow me and have followed my journey in this industry, who have messaged me, who have emailed me, who have shared with me that I am your inspiration. That is so humbling, and it is such a blessing, because as I walk in my purpose and my passion and what I do, the fact that I'm able to inspire and motivate others who are walking in the same passion and purpose. And so that is a blessing. I do believe that for all of us, it is the goal to connect with one another, to help and inspire one another. So I thank you all for your messages. Thank you so much, Couture. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so important that we continue to seek out sources of inspiration. And I appreciate all of you joining me today. So I just wanted to share a couple of things. So, I'm always running around. And I'm super excited. First of all, let me just say, who's watching the AMAs tonight? Who's watching the AMAs? Because if you're watching the AMAs, you all know my girl Chloe is hitting the stage yet again to perform. And your girl has transformed your girl, Chloe. I'm not going to share how she's been transformed. You all will be able to see that this evening. So make sure, if you have not made plans, that you make plans right now to at least watch your girl Chloe perform tonight at the AMAs and see the transformation. Again, super, super excited for you all to see this, and always blessed to be able to work with different celebrities and different individuals with influence. And so I want to just talk to all of you. I want you all to talk back to me this Sunday and share with me any sources of inspiration, lessons that you've learned from different mentors in your life. What's up, Ash? Anything that you've gleaned as you've journeyed so far. I'm now operating at a level where I am blessed to work with so many talented people who have such a large influence, a worldwide influence. But prior to serving the Chloes, the Avas, the Halle Berrys, the Wales, the Brandys, the Megan Goods, prior to serving these individuals, I was serving continuously, and I actually still continue to serve within my salon. And there were a number of clients who sat in my chair, who came across my path. Not just clients. Let me not just say clients. There were a number of people who sat in my chair, who I was blessed to serve, who came across my path, who influenced and impacted my life. What's up, Melanie? What's up, Kinky Controller? And so when I think about the impact and the influence that different people have had on my life, I've learned that when it comes to mentors, when it comes to people who inspire and motivate and push you forward, they may not always be what's the language I'm looking for? You may actually find that they come into your life, that they cross your path in a way that you didn't expect them to inspire or impact, but they have. And hey, what's up, Domino? And so what I have learned is that in all of my experiences in being able to serve others, I have learned and I have grown. I remember there was a client early on in my career when I first opened my salon. This is when I was in the salon by myself. I had 5 chairs in my salon, and I remember there was like a prayer that I said for a year where I'm like, God, please, bring me stylists, bring me stylists. And I was grinding. I wasn't just praying, I was grinding. I was going out there, I was searching, and I was feeling stressed. And I was feeling stressed because according to my business plan, in my business plan, In order for my salon to be successful financially, for me to be generating a profit, I had to have all of my booths rented out. And here I am, 6 months into owning my salon, and I don't have any booth renters. I am the only one in a 5-chair salon working, and I'm working. I know I shared last week, and all of you, actually a lot of you were able to understand this grind, but I was doing the, 25 hours a day, 8-hour weeks. And part of the reason why I was having this experience is because I was the only one maintaining the expenses of this salon, and it felt very overwhelming. And so I remember feeling stressed, and I remember walking into the salon one day, and suddenly the stress that I had been feeling for, at this point, maybe about 8 months, lifted. And I had a moment of realization. And the moment of realization the moment of realization was, I've been here for 8 months. I have owned this business for 8 months. And although my business plan, what I projected to happen in my plan, is not my reality. The reality is I've been operating a business for 8 months by myself. And this actually expanded my mind of, one, the possibilities, but also my ability. And it also taught me an important lesson. It taught me the lesson of taking action. Yes, it's important to plan. It's definitely important to plan. And not to allow that plan that you've written down to stifle you. To begin to move in the direction of the plan and to trust truly in God's word. That's right, friend. Come on, God. To truly trust in God's word, that although you make plans in your heart, he will order your steps. And what God had ordered for me in that season was he ordered for me to walk in the direction of my purpose. Thank God I was obedient to open this business. And although in my mind, which is limited, I needed 4 additional people in my business to help me see profit, to help me be successful, that God said, no, I'm going to show you first what you are able to do with me, so that you're not dependent on others for your growth and this idea of success. And so as soon as I accepted that reality, that yes, I projected that I needed 4 stylists to help me maintain this business, but the reality is I'm able to do it. And so instead of rushing and pushing, because let me tell you, let me be honest, let me take a step back, because oftentimes we hear the story and then we still don't get the details in the story. So the details in the story is that through this 8-month period, again, I was working. So I was going on Craigslist. This is when Craigslist, was the list. You could find anything on Craigslist. I think you still can, but I haven't been on there in a minute. What's up, Inez? And so I would go on Craigslist, and what my thought process was, other braiders and hairstylists would post on Craigslist to get clients. And so my thought was, since I'm opening up this natural hair salon, and it was difficult. I was hitting up the schools too, but when I was going to the cosmetology schools, a lot of the students at that time, they were interested in braiding, but they were still on the path of a traditional cosmetologist. My goal at that time was to open up a all natural hair salon where we did nothing but braid and locks and natural hair. There was no heat, there was no chemicals except for color. So I would go on the Craigslist and I would hit up the stylists who were promoting. And I would hit them up and I would say, hey, I see that you braid. Are you interested in working in a salon? Because most of these stylists too were working out of their homes. They were like me. Prior to me opening my salon, they were building their business out of their homes. And so that's how I was looking for stylists. And then of course I was doing my traditional, like walking around, passing out cards, asking people, like I was doing that thing. So during that 8-month period, what I was experiencing was I experienced stylists coming into the business and it not working out. So I was spending a lot of energy with stylists whose vision for what they were doing wasn't aligned with the vision that God had given me for where he was taking me. So in that 8-month period, part of that hustle, I was seeking support out of stress. And I wasn't seeking support from the place of purpose. So, context, when that 8-month period hit and I came into the realization of, yeah, you've been doing all this work, but you've been working and it doesn't really matter as far as looking for people, because God is showing you that you don't need the people. You need to be able to see what it is that you can do. Because if you build this foundation right now at this level, looking for people to help you get to where you think you need to be, then you're going to always be looking for people. So, praise God for that seed, because at that moment, I remember when I surrendered. And for so long in my journey, you hear people say, let go, let God, surrender, give it to him. And I would, in my heart, like, I don't know if anybody resonates with this, but I would always, like, in my heart, I'm surrendering, like, God, it's yours. But like, I would still feel like I wasn't surrendering, if that makes sense. Like, well, how do I surrender? Because I'm still thinking about it. How do I surrender? Because I'm still, like, feeling a little anxious. But like, in my heart, God, like, I trust you. And so in that experience, in that moment, I began to experience what true surrender felt like. That it was truly like a not thinking, a not planning, a not searching, a not trying to figure it out on my own. It was a true, I walked into the salon. This is real life, time travel with me. I walked into the salon and I was like, wow, God, I get it. You blessed me with a business and you've provided for me for 8 months. And yeah, I wasn't able to like maybe travel with my friends and stuff yet. And yeah, maybe I wasn't able to like hang out and do all the extra stuff, but I'm fed. I got clothes on my back. I got a business. And all the bills in the business are paid. I'm like, yeah, I'm tired, but I got clients who are coming in. So God, if you gave me this business so that I could play musical chairs, then I'm about to work in each and every one of these chairs every day. And me and my clients, we just gonna rotate. And it was like truly a peace and a joy. And so from that moment on, I stopped looking. I stopped looking for stylists to work in my salon, in the sense of like the rush and the, again, going on Craigslist and looking for stylists. And so from that place, God began to grow my business. And let me just say, during that season, though, of looking for stylists on Craigslist, I met a stylist. And this one stylist actually was a stylist who it opened the door for my first wave of stylists that came to my business. But at the time when I met with her, I literally, y'all, when I met with this stylist, I met her at a Starbucks down the street from the salon that I had not yet opened. Talk about walking in faith, okay? And presented her a floor plan for the salon that I was building. And asked her if she wanted to work with me. And she was like, I'm currently working in a barbershop. Like, this seems cool, but no, thank you, but thank you. And fast forward, after a year, our paths crossed. It turned out that the barbershop she was working at, the owner of that barbershop brought his daughter into my salon one day to do his daughter's hair. I began to do his daughter's hair. He was like, you're in here by yourself? And I'm like, yeah, like, this is my salon. I've been here for a year, and I was truly just like, yeah, like, this is mine. And not even tripping at this stage in my journey that the by yourself, because again, as business owners, you do think about overhead and cost, but I had been released of that. And he said, man, okay, there's a braider that works in my shop. And I have like a little room and she works in the back in my shop. But I'm going to tell her about your shop because I think it'll be cool for her to like come work at your shop. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, like I do want stylists. I just hadn't found a stylist. And this is how God works. that stylist that was working in the back of his shop was the stylist I had met before I even opened my salon, who was at the Starbucks. And I remember when her and I connected, she was like, oh my gosh, okay, this is God. I'm supposed to work here. Because I remember when you showed me the floor plan for this place. Ultimately, she was telling me, I remember when you told me the vision. And yeah, I want to come work with you. And so I really wanted to share that story with all of you, because as I think about my journey and where I am now, and the appreciation and gratitude that I have in working with my clients and seeing them as mentors that I've grafted into my life, I take advantage of every opportunity to be around them, and what they demonstrate to me and just how they move is the consistency, is the belief in themselves of what it is that they can do and accomplish with focus, discipline, and commitment. The very seed that God planted on the inside of me at the start of me opening my business and allowing me to go through that year-long period of working by myself so that I could see and have the evidence and the proof of what it is that I could produce on my own. And then, yes, I've gone through seasons, and I also understand, hence the squad, the power of working in community and working on teams. But in order for me to get to that place, I had to go through this season of knowing what it is that I could accomplish, because in building teams, it requires me, I can tell you now at this place in my life, it requires me as a leader to understand how to work with others to bring a vision to life. And it also allows me to connect on the different levels of people within my team. And I'm able to now witness these same characteristics again in all of the clients that I'm able to serve at this level of my career. And so I see y'all talking to me in the comments. Thank you so much for the love. Let me see. I see a question. Inez, do you think it's more difficult to find natural hairstylists versus cosmetologists? You know, I feel that now in present day, it's not as difficult. So y'all have to remember, I'm a trailblazer in this round of the natural hair revolution. And so I opened my salon, my all natural hair salon, in 2007. That was 14 years ago. 14 years ago, the natural hair movement wasn't happening. Okay? Now, we Black. We was always wearing braids and stuff, hence me even having the idea of like, this is what I want to do. I want to do hair. I want to braid, because Oh My Nappy Hair Salon was in existence, and I'm pretty sure that was in LA, and I'm pretty sure there were other natural hair salons, you know, across the country that were functioning and operating. Sister Locks were popping, you know, so there were things happening in Black hair, but it was very difficult during that season. Now, because of the natural hair movement, which really started to grow and bubble like around 2010, 12, like around there, where we had more and more women of color who, because of the damage they were experiencing to their hair and their scalp, were now seeking out ways to wear their hair in a more natural way, that there became a growing interest. And even still, the market still wasn't flooded at that time. Let me not say flooded. The market still wasn't accommodating so much for natural hairstylists and braiders. There were still stylists who were, just focused on straightening hair, because we also had like the weave movement happening. There was a lot of things happening, y'all, because good hair came out, and that kind of shed light on like relaxers and things like that. Another thing that was happening during this time period, you know, when we were learning more about the damage of relaxers to the hair again, and this is what was causing more and more women to seek styling alternatives and gravitating more towards the option of wearing their hair natural, not taking away weaves and relaxers, but just like, you know, maybe I'll lean towards that option more, and the option not just being for vacation or like a break, but like to go to work and go on job interviews and things like that. There were There was just so many things that were happening. But what began to grow during that time period was like the bloggers and like a community of women who could not find hairstylists like myself to help them care for their hair. So this growing community, which is now we're experiencing that, we now see what that has become on YouTube and, you know, just on the interwebs, a number of hair enthusiasts, women who, because they were on a journey to transition to natural hair, care for their natural hair, and felt like they could not find a professional and probably couldn't. Because again, a lot of the braiders, a lot of the people who were doing natural hair were doing it out of their homes. And this is something that we're transitioning out of. And I praise God that I am a part of this movement of how we are now viewing natural hair as a viable part of this industry, as a professional option for hairstylists. But this has not always been the case, and we're still growing. We're still experiencing this shift of how consumers, how clients, how people view natural hair, because it is such a cultural practice. It is the thing that your cousins, your auntie, your mama, your grandmama, you know, can do. And you can go sit on the floor still, and you can go still, you know, get your hair braided in the kitchen. I mean, y'all, I'm still doing hair in the house, not my house. Like, it ain't like how it used to be, you know, but especially with COVID, a lot of our traditional practices when it comes to natural hair, they never went away, but you know, it's something that we are seeing more of as things are shifting. So y'all know I will go into a story real quick, but I'm gonna keep y'all walking with me. So walk with me to answer your question. It is a lot easier to find natural hairstylists and braiders now. I'm sure you all have experienced and seen this, where there are a number of talented artists, cultural artisans, braiders who are out there, and more of them are promoting their skill set. More and more of them are taking the journey to getting licensed depending on the laws in the state. I'm also seeing a number of hair enthusiasts and like our vloggers and bloggers and women who have been in the space for years who are now investing in licensing so that they can bring that professionalism to the space, which I think is phenomenal because it's going to bring a level of consistency in the information that's being put out there, because there is so much conflicting information, and a lot of it comes from anecdotal experience from individuals who are not licensed. And then you have the licensee, like myself, the scientists who are bringing the facts, and then consumers are confused. But yes, friend, everything is coming back into order, the divine order of things, and the environment is shifting. So for those of you who are business owners and you are building these sacred spaces, I love this. God is just giving me all this language, y'all. These sacred spaces for us to continue to style and to style and protect our hair, our crowns. You should find that it's a lot easier to find stylists who specialize in natural hair. Okay, this is because you're going to find that in a number of states, some states require licensing and or a certification for you to do natural hair. 2, because you got leaders like myself who are building a squad of stylists who are getting training in braiding, twisting, locking, extensions, the healthy way of doing these styles and techniques so that we're preserving our hair. And so this also creates a space for you business owners to be able to network and find stylists to join your team, because that is one of my core values. It is teamwork. It is working together. It is community, because we can go further, faster when we are working together. Okay. And so there are a number of communities, there are a number of spaces where you can find other talented stylists who, you know, work in the same field, who may want to come and work in your sacred space that you're creating. And then also too, I would say that the industry is changing. What's up, Portia? The industry is shifting. So there are also a number of stylists who are building spaces for themselves within these salon suites. And then still you have that community within the Salon Suite. So things are shifting, things are changing. But we just got to continue to go with the flow, but then also kind of see where things are going. What's up, Courtney Squad? I love it. How do you transition from being a solo stylist to having an assistant? And so I would say really the transition is just going to be making the move. So I love this, Courtney. What this says to me and anyone else who's like considering or thinking that you need an assistant, that means you are growing. And so simply, you just have to put your feelers out there. You gotta find out who is also in this space, meaning the space of styling hair, braiding, who has a passion and interest, a love, and being able to bring them in to work with you. So an assistant, for me, when I first started again, I was blessed. My sister braids. I taught my sister to braid. And she would help me. And let me ask you, Courtney, because I will go to the left when you may want me to go to the right. Are you saying that you want an assistant to help you style hair, or you need more of an administrative assistant to help you with your business? Clarify that for me. And while you're clarifying that for me, let me just say, if any of you are feeling like, you know what, I am at a place in my business where I need an assistant, again, that is excellent. That means you are growing. That means you are at a place where you should start to look at your business systems and figure out, how do you scale and grow? I love it, Courtney. That's right, both. Laughing out loud. I'm laughing with you, because that means your spirit is like, I'm at another level and I'm trying to figure this out. Okay. So, when I first looked for an assistant, I looked within my circle. I would say from that experience, because y'all know I'm going to bring the experience in. From that experience, I would suggest creating a job description. And I really would suggest you sitting down and thinking about where you need support and how you would ideally want this individual to come into your business and provide you with that support. So for example, administratively, if you're feeling overwhelmed because you got clients texting you and calling you and you're trying to figure out when to schedule and and all that, and you need somebody to follow up and you just want to create a more organized system for that, take time, write out clearly what are the duties, what are going to be the tasks, what is this individual going to need to do for you to take those particular things off your plate so that you can focus in on your zone of genius of serving the clients. And then you detail that out, outline what those duties are, and then write out, how many hours, When I first started, I needed some minimal support. I needed somebody to ultimately schedule my clients, organize my schedule, and create that customer experience, because again, I had a vision for where I was going. And so because of where I was going, which is to my now of having an enterprise, I need to make sure that my clients are having a particular experience, because the experience that I was providing for them when I was on my own, I could no longer keep up with because I was growing. And so you want to list that out, and you want to, figure out, okay, do you need somebody to come in part-time, or, how many hours? And I needed somebody just to really manage, part-time. So I started off with 20 hours a week. Similarly with braiding. So for me, when it comes to assisting with doing hair, again, this is all about client experience and time. Maximizing your time. How much can I produce in the time that I am working? And the more I can produce in this time, then the more money I can generate, because I'm only one person. And so this is when, again, you start setting your financial goals, and you start looking at the amount of clients you're attracting into your business. How many people can you serve? And again, what I want you to think about, Courtney and anyone else who's gleaning from this information, that when you have an assistant, you have to not only think about where you're going, but you have to consider the goals and the vision of your assistant. Because the assistant ain't going to stay an assistant. They ain't going to want to stay an assistant. They too are going to grow. So you're going to have to really have some expansive thinking on, like, okay, as you're seeking out somebody to assist you, are you going to create a pattern, which is, there's no wrong way to do it, but are you going to create a pattern where you know, like, you're going to always need an assistant? So is assisting you part of a training process where then you train this person and then they work within your business? Or is it just a training process and they come in and they assist you and they receive training, and then after a certain period of time they graduate and they move on to their goals and dreams, and then you have a process in which you have another assistant coming in, and then your current assistant spends a month or two training the new assistant, so when they move on, then you got to think about these things, because your girl didn't in the beginning. So when you think about these things, this will then help you seek out who you want to assist you. Because again, I didn't. I was asking my cousins, my sister, which is fine. These are the resources that I had. And again, there's no wrong way. This wasn't the wrong way. This was the absolute right way for your girl, because I got the help that I needed in that season. And then it also taught me some things. So you may be in a place where you do have a cousin or a friend who can assist you right now, but I would just encourage you, again, if they aren't fitting within the vision, the long-term vision of where you're going, that you're just clear about that up front, and you're able to communicate with whoever is assisting you right now. Hey, this is temporary. I do need the help, but I'm going to still be searching for someone who can fit within this particular position because of where I'm going. So I really hope that was helpful for you, Courtney. Look, y'all, it's a little bit after 1. I traditionally love hanging out and telling a bunch of stories, but actually I'm going to a wedding. One of my friends from college is getting married today, and so I'm supposed to be heading out so I can celebrate their union. But I appreciate all of you hanging out with me today on this Sunday. Oh, I'm glad it was helpful, Courtney. Thank you so much for coming through this Sunday and spending a little bit of time with me. I saw somebody say, please save this live, because I know I was giving y'all a little bit of my journey. So I definitely will save this live. I'm learning that if I don't post it right away, it goes away. So I'm going to post it. So for those of you who missed out, I see you, London. For those of you who missed it and or want to run it back, because you want to pick up some of them keys, them jewels I done dropped along the path, I'm going to make sure that I have this available for you all. And I'm going to be coming back again live next week for all of you. So please, 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 I'm really enjoying this time with you all. Make sure you DM me, email me, message me if there's anything specific that you want to talk about or a story you want to hear. Let me know. Thank you so much. I received the blessings. Thank you all for joining. Enjoy your Sunday, and I'll tap in with you soon.